You. I am so glad you are all here with me. So today we are going to make an artificial arrangement using silk flowers from a company called David Christopher's. If you are watching this video right this very second over on Facebook, you are very likely watching the replay. Please put hashtag replay in the comments for me. If you don't see that little live button up in the corner, just put hashtag replay so I know when you're watching it. So again, we are live both on Facebook and YouTube, and Miss Victoria is here with me. So y'all please talk to me. Ask me questions as we go. I'd love to talk to you and answer any kind of questions you might have. So today I actually got the opportunity to work with a company called David Christopher's. And David Christopher's is a company that does beautiful faux flowers, actually pretty high-end faux flowers. They also have ribbon, lots of beautiful things. And so they sent me some of their product, and I thought we would put together a beautiful artificial arrangement. Now the container that we're going to use, we actually have these containers on our website, our Shopify website. This is a sugar mold, and it has 5 little holes in it. Now I have one of these at home sitting on a shelf, and I have just dropped succulents, artificial succulents right down in it, and it's pretty just sitting on a desk or a shelf. But I thought today we would make a beautiful arrangement using our David Christopher flowers. I am going to start out with a little bit of foam. So I'm going to I don't have any styrofoam that's made for artificial arrangements. I have hard styrofoam, that's the green styrofoam, and then I have these softer foam cones that we used for cemetery work. So I'm going to take and cut this up to use it down in my sugar mold. So I'm just going to take my floral knife. You headed out? Yep. All right, just lock us in, baby. Hey, take Todd if Dad didn't.
On YouTube, Grit and Grace says hello from Maryland, and Miss Maryland says hello, happy Thursday to you all.
Hello everybody. So glad you are here.
On Facebook, Miss Rebecca says she loves David Christopher's.
Yes, isn't it a wonderful company? Lots of pretty stuff. I was so excited to work with them.
Miss Kathy says, yay, finally able to take a rest and watch you live. We are blocks from where the tornadoes hit in Elkhorn, Nebraska. Taking a little break this afternoon from helping out.
Oh, I hope everybody was safe. So what I'm doing is I'm just kind of working them down in there, making sure they fit. Trimming up that foam. And I'm just using my knife and trimming that foam. And I'm sorry it sounds bad. Are you eating a snack over there, Victoria? I hear you snacking.
Yeah.
Victoria's like, I am. All right. So sometimes you just have to make things work, right? Okay, I think that's going to work.
You have lots of hellos.
Hello, everybody. So glad y'all are here with us today. Okay, so again, I just took one of those foam cones, and I'll show it to you. We can actually get these from a company called Ludwig. This is like a styrofoam cone that goes down into the cemetery vases. And so it's nice to be able to repurpose it for other projects, right? So I just cut it. The only thing about styrofoam is it kind of sheds. It's kind of gritty. So I'm going to just take and dip it into my glue pan. I have my handy dandy glue pan. I am going to just dip that foam into that glue pan, and I'm going to press it right down into this container.
Miss Margaret Lynch asks if there is a name on your container.
It is called, I believe it's a sugar mold, isn't it, Victoria? We'll pull it up. I'll put a link for you. I believe that it is a sugar mold, but this sugar mold is on our website.
Irene Bush says, hello, Monty and Victoria. So glad I caught you live. I will be calling you about a custom wreath.
Sounds wonderful. We would love to make something beautiful for you. So I'm just taking each piece and I'm dipping it right down into that glue. I'm going to trim this one just a little more. I like this type of styrofoam though when working with pretty artificial flowers because it's so much easier than the hard styrofoam. I'm laughing at you. Victoria is hungry. She's over here really snacking. Okay, so I glued my foam right down into place. Now, you absolutely do not have to glue it if you don't want to. You can leave it where you just press that foam right back down in there, and then you can pull it out. But I'm going to put this out to sale, so it's better to go ahead and have it prepared and ready so that it doesn't come apart. So I just glued that foam right down in there. I'm going to come in next with a little bit of Spanish moss. So I like to cover my mechanics, and I just thought this Spanish moss, I don't have any sheet moss. You could use a sheet moss or a Spanish, but I'm just going to come around. I don't often carry sheet moss, but I always have Spanish moss because we like plants. So I'm just taking it and kind of tearing it into small pieces and going all the way around that little piece of foam. Now you can always trim that up. You don't have to, you know, it doesn't have to be too prevalent in your arrangement. It can always be trimmed up.
On YouTube, Miss Sally Ray says, good morning from Australia.
Hello, Sally Ray. Thank you for being here.
Miss Peggy says she's watching from, is it Delano or Delano, California?
Hello, friend.
She says, finally got you live. I love your work. Keep up the good work.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
And Miss Charlene Newberg on YouTube says, hi, Monty. Charlene from Fort Lauderdale. I watched your tutorial yesterday. I had never heard of Rub and Buff, but excited to try the product. Thank you for all you do and share.
Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you for being here. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so you can see now that I've covered that foam, so it's not going to show, which is always nice. I hate when I don't like my mechanics to show. So I did take, this dust shows all over my blouse. Okay, I did take and tuck that right in. Now, the flowers that I pulled out of my box, which are beautiful. It was almost like Christmas time, y'all. It was so exciting to open this box from David Christopher's. So we're going to use some beautiful stems of orchids. And they sent me 2 different colors. Look at how beautiful. I love these pinks, Victoria. Don't they look so pretty? These are beautiful pink orchids. And then the white orchid has a really pretty pink throat. It has just a little splash of pink, but they are so pretty. So we're going to make this container look as if the orchids are just growing out of this container. And so we've got the beautiful orchids. It also came with orchid foliage. How fun is that? So this is Phalaenopsis leaf. So it's just orchid leaf. Like the foliage. So what you're going to do is just take these leaves and you're just going to fold them down as if they are growing. So we're going to just press them right down into our container. How awesome is that? So I have 3 of those leaves that we're going to use.
Allison says, oh my word, those orchids.
Aren't they beautiful? How fun is this? They also sent us this really pretty foliage, and I thought we need more foliage. You know, I'm a green girl. I like greenery. This one is called Pepper Leaf Branch. Pepper Leaves Bunch. Pepper Leaves Bunch. So it's just greenery. And then, sorry, I couldn't read that very well, could I? My little readers. This is just pretty greenery. And it does say, but it's very tiny. Can you read that? Something leaf spray. It's very small. Your eyes are better than mine.
clematis leaf spray?
Clematis. That does look like clematis. It certainly does. It looks like a vining clematis. It doesn't have the blooms, but it's beautiful. And then here's a fern. Look at that fern, how pretty that fern is. So I am so excited. So we're just going to be creative and have fun. So I thought we would start with our orchid foliage. I am going to take my snips and I am going to cut it.
Miss Paula asks, can y'all send me a link to wrist bracelets? I think you use slap bracelets, but may be wrong. Think it would be fun for girls to do at a 13th birthday party.
Absolutely, we sure can. So when I press this this stem right down in, it's not short enough. So I am going to take my wire snips and I trimmed up that stem. Now I love that it's very realistic. It even has the little roots. It almost looks like the little roots. So I'm going to take it. I'm going to lift up the roots because I don't want them in the glue, and I'm going to dip that stem right down into my glue pan, and I am going to press him right down into that foam.
Sheila Kendall says, looks like the foam cuts easy, like the wet floral foam.
It does cut very easily. Yes, ma'am. It sure does.
She asks, does it hold the stems as well as the hard styrofoam?
I have found it does. We haven't had any problems using it for cemetery work. We haven't had any problems at all. Now, you have to be careful when you take it out there to take like a knife so that you can trim it up, because you can tear it up pretty easily. So I just took and trimmed up that stem. I'm going to wait and fluff it up after I get it into my container. So I dipped that stem right down into the glue.
A few people are saying the silks are gorgeous and want to know where you got them.
Beautiful. Absolutely. We will put a link, and I will put it in the description of this video too. These came from David Christopher's, which is, we are doing a collaboration with them. So they just sent us a beautiful box of so many fun things. So there's our foliage tucked in. And so we are so excited. This one does not have the roots. I'm almost wondering if they're in this box over here. I don't know that it really matters. Is it really going to matter, Victoria? Probably not. I'm not going to worry about it.
Miss Angie Ham says, love orchids. You have on a beautiful blouse today. Hello.
Thank you so very much. Thank you. I wasn't sure about this blouse. And when I walked in this morning, Victoria looked at me and she said, you look beautiful. And I said, you just made my day, Victoria. So thank you very much. Victoria made me feel so good. And even Robbie came in and said, I like that shirt. I'm like, y'all made my day. I am so thankful I picked this blouse this morning. Okay, so I just glued them in. They're just glued right down into that foam. And the nice part is I have two empty holes. It worked out fine because I really didn't need more of the foliage in those two holes. I'm just going to overflow with some of the other pretty foliage. So next we're going to come in with our orchids. And so we want to make them look as if they are growing in this container. So anytime you work with artificial blooms, faux blooms, you want to give them a little bit of a bend, a little bit of movement. I can remember being in school and Dr. Dale Prince saying, breathe life into those florals. Often they're going to come in straight up and down. They come in boxed, and these were wrapped beautifully, by the way. They were very carefully wrapped. But this really looks faux. But when you give it its bend and you breathe a little life into it, it no longer looks artificial. You almost have to come and touch it to make sure that it's fresh. So anytime you're working with artificial blooms, always breathe a little life into them.
Rhea Norman says, they are beautiful. I specialize in killing orchids.
Yeah, I do too, Rhea. I cannot grow an orchid, so I quit. It's kind of like an African violet. I can't grow them. I cannot. And my little grandmother, who had a black thumb, she could not grow anything. Could grow the prettiest African violets you have ever seen. But what I found out is it's not me. It's the place where I put those African violets. They were not happy at my house. It had nothing to do with how I did it. So I just took that stem and I dipped him right into my glue. And I just pressed him right down into that foam. And I'm going to take the pink and I'm going to put it in between. I'm going to do white, pink, I think. White, pink, white, pink, white. I had to make sure I was doing that correctly.
Miss Deanna is being very sweet. She says, great to see you live from Kentucky. Enjoy all your posts and arrangements and flowers. You are so talented and definitely blessed. Victoria, you're the best too.
Oh, you are so kind. Thank you. Oh, Osa, Mister, we don't need you up here today. Thank you. Love ya. He's like, I don't appreciate this. Okay, I dipped it in the glue.
Tell me if I read this one already, but Valerie says hello and she's spending the afternoon with her mom. She says that she enjoys watching us make flowers too.
Oh, we're so glad you're here. Thank you, Valerie. Thank you, thank you. And I may even have to go back. Some of you may be really good with orchids. And I may have to go back and look at more pictures to make sure I am bending them correctly, because I do want them to look as if they are in the right growth pattern.
Kathy Riddle gave you she's given you some advice about how to grow African violets.
Oh, okay, I need it. Because I was like, if my little grandma who cannot grow anything could grow an African violet, but they would sit on her windowsill in the kitchen, and they just were as happy as can be. I always say happy as a June bug. I never met a June bug. I don't know how happy they were, but I've heard it before. But they were so happy in her window, and she could kill a pothos, but she could grow an African violet.
On YouTube, we have Miss Chesha says hello from DC.
Pretty name.
Miss Marilyn says, when I used to work for a florist years ago, the lady would get the moss from the trees and put it in the microwave to kill any bugs that might have been on it. And of course, she put the moss in a bag first.
Yes, wonderful. Yes, now we do not, in Mississippi, unless you go down to the coast, we do not have Spanish moss that grows here. We are North Mississippi, fairly north. We're in north central Mississippi. And so we do not have the Spanish moss that grows here. That's closer to the coast.
Miss Peggy on YouTube asks what kind of glue are you using for the dipping?
Okay, so I order my glue in little pellets. It comes in little glue pellets. It almost looks like a little pillow. And you just drop them right down into your pan, and this is actually made specifically for glue, but I've even bought like frying pans that you can put up on your counter, and you just drop them down in there and they melt. Now if you can't find the pellets made for the glue pans, you can absolutely purchase just glue sticks, and they work the same.
Miss Margaret Lynch says, oh Monty, my orchid is flowering for the third time. I'll send a photo.
Fantastic. We'd love to see it, Miss Margaret. We'd love to see that.
Miss Ria says, my favorite hotel in London has the most fantastic huge pots of white orchids in the rooms. I was convinced they were artificial. They were real.
Really? You had to go touch them. Isn't that fun? Mm-hmm. Okay, so there's our orchids tucked in. Again, I am going to look at the growth pattern of the orchids, because I can certainly... These bend so well and so easily. You can always go and look at growth patterns of different orchids to see how to make them look more realistic.
Cam Aldridge on Facebook says, prayers, friends. I had a very high blood pressure and chest pains today.
Oh, we will certainly pray, Cam. We certainly will. Okay, next I'm going to come in with a little bit of foliage, because I think the foliage would be so beautiful around it. So this is just a fern, natural touch sword fern plant, and it really is so pretty. I'm wondering if it comes apart. Nope, I'm going to have to just cut it.
Ms. Marilyn on YouTube says, I live in Florida and we have moss everywhere.
Yes, you do.
She says they should make the moss our state plant.
It really should be, because it really is very prevalent there, right? But it's fun, especially when you don't see it all the time. I know you in Florida are like, well, it's everywhere. But when you don't see it all the time, it's really kind of fun to see. But you know, I get so excited about things that are just growing wild in Florida. Y'all have like some interesting, like they're house plants here, and they grow wild like shrubs. Okay, so I'm just going to take a little bit of this fern, and I'm just going to cut it into smaller pieces.
Grit and Grace on YouTube says, I'm going to look David Christopher's up. I need to find some excellent quality silk flowers for our flower shop.
These are fantastic. Fantastic. And their prices are really reasonable, but I will certainly, I'll put a link for you so that you can see. I'll be happy to do that when we get off the live. So I'm just taking these little fronds and I'm cutting them off the little bush, and we're just adding them right into that foam all the way around these ferns. I mean, these, not ferns, I'm using the fern to go around the orchids.
Weaver's Way Bake Shop says, for the rest of us, that Spanish moss is almost magical, kind of gives fairy tale vibes.
I agree, Kristen. That's exactly my thoughts. It's so much fun and so neat to see. It's just so almost even romantic with it dripping out of the trees. I know that's so silly.
Is that Kristen Weaver?
That's Kristen Weaver.
Oh my goodness.
That is, she's being fancy. How are you feeling, Kristen Weaver? Y'all please keep her in your prayers. She has hurt her back. She has hurt her back, and so she was supposed to do a booth at the, what is that, the Derby this weekend.
A few people are coming in late and want to know what you're making today.
So today we are just making a beautiful arrangement of orchids. These are all faux. They're artificial blooms, and these are flowers. We have actually we have joined with David Christopher's, which is a silk company. They have beautiful faux flowers. They have ribbon, lots of different pretty things, and they ship worldwide. They're actually located in Alabama, but they sent us this wonderful box filled with all kinds of goodies for us to use and try out and introduce you guys to. So I am using some of their beautiful blooms to make this pretty orchid arrangement.
Miss Janice Sloan.
Miss Janice, how are you feeling, sweet friend?
She says, I love you all, and once again I'm watching from my hospital bed. I got to walk a bit today. They have not told me yet when I'm going to rehab. I thank each of you for your continued prayers.
We love you, Miss Janice. So glad to hear from you. Thank you for letting us know how you were doing. So I'm just taking these stems and just cutting them smaller.
Kristen says, managed a double batch of cookies and cream cookies this morning, but broke my mixer. I keep trying my best, but I'm beginning to believe in the signs. LOL.
Sister, I got a mixer at my house. You want to borrow it? Because it hadn't been used in quite a while. And you are welcome to use it. You want me to bring it to you? I can do it. Mm-hmm. I'm happy to. And I can hug a little red-headed boy. Okay, I'm going to turn it around. Y'all, I like the fern in it. It makes it kind of fancy.
Gloria Tucker says, I used to grow several varieties of violets. I had them in a room with a skylight. They were beautiful.
Yeah, I think really it has to do with where they're located and their happiness. Because Mama always says the window needs to be, where is it? It's supposed to face, I can't remember what direction. But anyway, I don't have a window that faces whatever direction Mama told me it needed to face. I don't have a window because I have porches on both sides of the house. So we have a back porch. I even tried to put it on the back porch, and it wasn't happy. But I tell you, I'm not a real good waterer when it comes to watering them either, because they don't want to be, they're picky. And if you're picky, you know, I just can't deal with picky.
Kristen will send Josh after it after he gets off work.
Okay, sounds good. Just tell her to holler at me. And you might have to wash it. It's probably not the cleanest. It's been under the counter. But it'll work. We don't believe in signs, Kristen. So I'm taking each of these stems and I am just dipping them right into the glue.
Ladine says, but aren't there bugs and spiders that live in that moss? Ladine, Miss Marilyn on YouTube says that, or I think it was Miss Marilyn. Let me double check. Yes, Miss Marilyn, when she worked at a florist, they would put it in a bag and microwave it to kill all the
for
bugs.
us, we get it already pre-treated. So we didn't go and pick it. Honestly, I think it's illegal. I don't think you're really supposed to harvest it yourself. But we did not. We are in North Mississippi. We did not harvest it. We order it in boxes. So we have never had any real issues with bugs in the moss because it's always been pre-treated.
Sally Ray says it's looking so lovely and realistic. You're a magician, Monty.
Thanks, guys. Thank you. It's kind of fun. I don't think I like how he's leaning. Get up here.
Christian says, I'm trying, I'm pushing, but the chiropractor just about broke me today.
Oh, I know. That's no fun. It's no fun when you hurt your back.
Miss Kathy says they need to be near an east or north window with indirect light. All you have to do is Google it and it'll tell you exactly what they prefer.
Yeah, they don't like my house. They just don't like my house. Okay, do we want this? I think this is beautiful, but I don't think it's orchid. I've got some curly willow branches that are going to have to dry. I got a cat in the floor and I just scared him to death. But these are fresh curly willow branches. But I think they would be beautiful tucked in. I'm not going to glue them in right now because I'm not sure if they will stay.
Yeah, they're saying none of the clematis.
Yeah, the clematis is beautiful. It's beautiful, but I don't think it works for this. Ooh, it's so pretty though. It makes me really happy. Okay, so these are fresh curly willow branches. And so I'm just taking and snipping that end off.
Oh, Miss Gloria. Gloria Gage says the best way to water orchids is to drop an ice cube in the pot once a week.
Now, the only question I have, though, is do they like the ice because they are tropicals? Does that ice not, and I'm just asking because I don't know, does the ice not give them a little bit of a jolt?
Allison says it is beautiful, but definitely for another project. For that
Yes,
clematis.
I agree, yes. But it is so pretty. It does make me happy. I like that curly willow though, kind of sticking out, kind of giving us a little bit. It's hard to see.
Yeah, they like it too.
It's hard to see. And this is just dried material that I had here at the shop. I have not checked out their website, but I bet they probably have faux curly willow.
Miss Cheryl says this would look pretty in a bay window.
Ooh, it would.
Miss Rhea Norman says that would look perfect on my kitchen windowsill.
I like it that it's narrow. You know, it's kind of got that narrow look. Or even on table. And I like the pink. Did we go dark?
Miss Carolyn wants to know if you ever use orchids in bridal bouquets.
I have before. Very seldom, but I have before. The only problem with orchids is they're so delicate, and we have to, when I order orchids, I have to get them in bulk. And so I don't often order orchids just because they're just not as long lasting. But we have used them in bouquets before. And they are so pretty. They are so pretty. And I do wish that I had the skill, but they're a little more finicky than So this is my type of orchid. An orchid that does not require any work, but looks just as beautiful.
Miss Lanice Carter wants to know if curly willow will grow in North Mississippi.
Curly willow, I'm not exactly sure. I will look, Miss Lanice. I will look that up and see. You could probably Google it, or even go to ChatGPT and ask if it would be hardy there. All right, there is our floral arrangement made out of faux flowers used from David Christopher's. What we used here is we used 3 of the Phalaenopsis leaf plant, which is just the greenery here. I used 3 of those. And then I used 5 total stems of the orchids. And they are Dendrobium orchid sprays, and they're both, I did them in pink and in the white. And then this is a sword fern plant. I think it's Natural Touch sword fern plant. It was 19 inches was the sword fern. But it is so pretty. It really is pretty. It would be beautiful on a table or a windowsill, just like you said, I think. That'd be a pretty windowsill, wouldn't it?
Jody Rand, yes.
That would be a fancy windowsill.
Jody Rand says, getting ready to decorate some of my grapevine wreaths for Mother's Day with artificial flowers. These flowers that you are working with look like such high quality. I will certainly look up their website.
Absolutely, and I will be sure to post their website on both Facebook and YouTube so that you can go and check them out. I really think you will be so pleased with the quality. Like, I have several more videos to make with all of the beautiful things they sent. They sent a large box with all sorts of beautiful things, from sunflowers to hydrangeas to beautiful, I'm not exactly sure. They almost look like a water lily, but I don't think so. I'll look at it because it's going to tell me what it is. Lots of beautiful foliage. Lotus blooms. Look at this. Look how beautiful. What a beautiful wreath. Such pretty things. So we've got several more videos to make some beautiful things. Look at that lotus pod. How beautiful. I guess it's a lotus flower, not a pod.
Miss Kathy Riddle says she's talked to Mrs. Christopher before a couple years ago. She says she's very, very nice.
Really? I have been to their warehouse before, but it's been a long time. But they do have beautiful things. Beautiful, beautiful things. Look at that lotus flower. How amazing is that? But lots of beautiful pods, some beautiful greenery. Hydrangeas are amazing. Look at this pink hydrangea. It looks so real. And that's actually like a little bush, so it's got several blooms on one bush. And that's just the Cypress Garden hydrangea bush, light pink. That's so pretty. And then these are purple. And they are, let's see, mountain peony. A mountain peony bush. Look at how pretty purple that is. So pretty.
Miss Gloria says, don't put the ice cube next to the plant. Put it next to the edge of the pot. Then it melts before it gets to the plant.
Awesome. Okay. And then look at those sunflowers. That'll make a beautiful wreath, won't it? So pretty. But lots of beautiful things I am excited to play with. So pretty. Great quality. I'm very pleased with the looks of these, and I'm so excited to work with some more.
On YouTube, Miss Barbara says, "Gosh, finally caught you live. Love orchids," and she's watching from New Braunfels, Texas.
Hello, I'm so glad you're here, friend. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here.
They're very excited for all what you're about to do.
Fun? Well, I will certainly put a link to their website because I would love for y'all to go and check them out because I'm telling you, with just touching the product, it's amazing. And you can see it does look very realistic. And it's very pretty. I mean, it's really, really pretty stuff. I am so excited. So thank you for being here, guys. Thank you for asking questions and talking to us. You know that if you have any questions about anything that we do here at Flowers by the Bunch, you can always ask. We would love for you to ask questions. Again, I will post a link to David Christopher's website so that you can check it out and see what you think about all of their product. Do me a great big favor. If you enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up. That just helps people see us. And if you wouldn't mind over on Facebook sprinkling this video for me, I would so appreciate it. I will be back first thing in the morning at 8 o'clock to do our devotion, and then tomorrow afternoon to make some pretty flower arrangements.